Welcome back to the For Amusement Only Games stream. I'm Nick Baldridge, and tonight I wanted to stream a game that is very special to me. It's the first game that I made on the P3 pinball platform, and this is a homebrew, a one-off. This is not a commercial endeavor. This was a game that I made to test myself and also to ensure that I understood how the platform worked, how programming for the P3 worked, and how it differed from other homebrew efforts that I've made in the past. So Quest for Glory, if you're familiar with PC gaming, you'll be familiar with Sierra, the company. And in 1990, they released a VGA version of the point-and-click classic Heroes Quest. And at the time, they renamed it to Quest for Glory. So by that time, Quest for Glory 2 and almost Quest for Glory 3 had been out. And so they renamed it Quest for Glory 1. This game is a complete reimagining of the original Quest for Glory 1 VGA version, and it's made to be played as a pinball game. So before I get started on actually playing the game, I just wanted to go over kind of the thought process behind it. Since this is a homebrew game, it's not a commercial effort, things are going to be a little wild and hairy, perhaps. There won't be the level of polish that you're used to seeing from my commercial efforts. Again, this was mostly intended to teach myself the platform. It's also very ambitious, but that's nothing new. So the deal with this game is that there are 5 main modes of interaction. There's walking, there is looking, there's touching or taking, there's using, and then there's a 6th mode for hints. Hi, John. Welcome. So in the game, in each screen, and there are somewhere in the realm of 70 screens in this game, there are those 5 main modes of operation, and within you can do different things. For example, if you set it to look mode, you can look at different items that are in that screen and interact with them. You'll also notice this mini monitor, which is in the center of the Lexi Lightspeed playfield module, on which Quest for Glory is written to interact with. That will display the main interaction mode. And on the back glass is used very heavily in this game. It will display your character sheet. So that's the only place where you can see your stats. The other main thing about this game is that saving is a core mechanic. So you want to periodically save your game, because if you drain, you die. So to save your game, you spell the word rest in the in and out lanes, and those are rotatable using the red flipper buttons. And then you shoot the scoop all the way on the right side, way up here. So when you do that, you will rest, it'll save your game, and it'll advance time a quarter of a day. So there's a day-night cycle in this game, and the time is split between early morning, mid-morning, early afternoon, and evening. And different things happen at those different times of day in each of the screens. So there's a lot to explore, a lot to do in this game. Beyond that, there are 3 different character classes. So you have a fighter, a magic user, and a thief, and each have different puzzle solutions and ways of approaching any problem within the game. So all that said, let's get started. So first up, we select which character class we want to be. So on the back glass, it shows you the difference in stats between these. So if you're a fighter, you start with 25 strength. A magic user, you start with only 10 strength. And then a thief, only 10 strength. Each of these character classes have their own different skills, abilities, and items that they start with, which differ from the other character classes. So in this case, what I'd like to do is start with the thief. It's my favorite character class. It has the most interesting, in my opinion, solutions to various puzzles. And there's a lot of flexibility in how you approach the game. So I'm going to choose thief. I'm going to pick a profile that already exists.
This seems like a quiet little town. On the porch ahead of you are two people. The standing one is large, rather ugly, and playing with a yo-yo. The seated person smoking a pipe looks like he might be the sheriff. The man with the pipe greets you.
Welcome to our town. You are lucky to have made it down the mountains before the snow blocked the pass again. It's gotten pretty dangerous outside of town, I understand. Many monsters have been trapped around here with the late snow. Between them and the brigands, we certainly could use a hero around here. I am Sheriff Schultz Meisterson. This is Otto von Gunn, my assistant. Good luck in your quest.
All right, so the ball automatically launches once the sheriff finishes his introduction. And at this point, what I'm attempting to do is get the ball under control, which I did not do. Let's see. Okay. So I drained. The game is over. That's okay. So you can skip any dialogue in the game just by double flipping. And let's talk to the sheriff. That requires me to actually hit a shot, though. Okay.
This seems like...
Okay, so now that I've selected talk mode, you can see the chevron near the center of the screen. It says sheriff, and an insert is flashing in the center bank of targets. Okay, for real this time. So I mentioned there are some changes from the original game, just to make the flow of the pinball a little smoother. Okay, so now I'm talking to the sheriff. The portrait in the center changes to the sheriff, and you use the yellow buttons to change the topic of conversation. The topic appears down here between the flippers, and it also appears as chevrons indicating the target, and of course the target insert blinks as well. So let's see, should we ask about the town, magic, adventure, the Baron, brigands, danger, the guild hall, monsters, or auto? I think we're going to go with the guild hall, which is the leftmost target in the center bank.
The guild hall is at the southwest corner of town. If you're looking for work, that's a good place to go.
All right, sounds reasonable. Okay, so here I am outside of the guild hall, and you can see that the scoop is lit for resting and saving. There are some areas where it is not advisable to rest and save. If you are outside of town, for example, it's not a safe or protected area. But since I'm in the town, I can save, and then I won't have to repeat what I've just done. It'll also make restarts when I inevitably drain much faster. Okay. So now it is nighttime, but I should be able to go into the guild hall.
This This adventurous guild hall reminds you of the one in your hometown. The traditional moose head and other stuffed monsters. Saurus, troll, griffin, dragon, cheetor, and the terrible antwer adorn the walls. You see a registration book on the table and the bulletin board full of job listings. The man seated near the window must be the guild master. He's snoring.
Okay.
Reward for return of lost ring. Inquire at the healers.
So I've read one of the notices on the bulletin board. And now I can sign the logbook.
You sign your name into the adventurous logbook with a flourish.
So each of these actions gives me an achievement, as well as some points. So this game uses a non-traditional point system. So there are puzzle points down in the apron area right there. My score is 9 out of 500, so there's a maximum point value. And let's wake up the guildmaster if we can.
Oh, what a glorious day it was. Oh, hello there.
All right, managed to hit the target, and then got stuck behind some scoops. There we go.
Now, there was a hero, and worthy of the name Barnard von Spielberg. He rode off to hunt one morning 5 years ago, and his horse returned with large claw marks on it. No sign Barnard's body was ever found.
Okay. So that doesn't sound good as far as the baronet goes. Okay, so now we have the option to restore instead of just restarting. So I'm going to restore, and here we are. Now, because I've already seen that initial entry speech, it will not fire that again. My score is still 9, so that means that I saved after signing the logbook, which is good. On this screen, I use some particle effects on the fire, which is pretty fun. Okay. So in this room, you can look at the various heads which are mounted on the walls. So we can look at the source, the moose, the griffin, the armor in the corner, the troll, the dragon, the cheetor, or the Antwerp. Let's look at the Antwerp.
This is certainly a weird one. Never seen anything quite like it. The plaque reads, Antwerp, slain by 2 guys from Andromeda.
So that's a reference to a different game series called Space Quest. And yeah, John, you're right. King's Quest typically had lower maximum point values. Glad you got it. Okay, so we can go to the magic shop. Now, as a thief, we have no magical ability. So what we would be able to purchase there is pretty minimal, but we can always talk to the magic shop owner. So let's do so. This is one of my favorite little rooms here. If you keep your eye on the snake in the center, anytime you flip, the snake blinks. Just fun. All right, let's see. Okay, so we can ask their name, ask about Arana, Baba Yaga, the Baron, Familiar, Erasmus, Hero, or Initiation. Hey, Borg Dog, welcome. Do we have all the glory? Not yet, but we're getting there. All right. So this is a particular interaction mode, this talk to the magic shop owner, that has quite a few different options. So slingshots are options. We can also ask about open, which is a spell, fetch, a different spell, skill, or flame dart, another spell. Let's ask about Baba Yaga.
She is a powerful and wicked hag. You would be wise to avoid her. She cursed the Baron von Spielberg when he tried to drive her away. Baba Yaga's hut is magical. It stands on chicken legs, and you must know the rhyme to enter.
Sounds mysterious. All right, so I'm going to try to hit the scoop over there to save, since I got another point.
Overworked, underpaid, no control over my life.
Talking to yourself. Fun little Easter egg. Okay. Let's come back. Well, this feels dangerous. We'll just leave the magic shop then, shall we? Okay. Let's explore what else is in this village here. It's nighttime. The sheriff and the goon, which sit on the stoop there, have left for the evening. And we can enter this alley, or we can enter the bar. I think it's time for a drink here.
The bartender glares at you as you enter, and so does the ugly goon on the left. You get the impression that you are not welcome. The grimy window lets little light into this tavern. It smells like stale ale and other more unpleasant things. The floor is covered with dirt, and the bar with sticky beer. Smoke appears to be rising from the center cask behind the bar. To your right, two gamblers are playing cards.
Go fish.
There's a lot of people to potentially talk to. Here I've talked to the bartender. He asked what I wanted to drink. So I said an ale.
We've got some of the finest ale in the valley. Only 1 silver.
1 silver, eh? I think that's affordable. Oop. I hope so. Okay. So we're back a few screens. That is A-okay. So because this restored the game, it brought us back to daytime. So now that we've looked around in the village, let's exit. Guy throwing a knife there. His name is Bruno. Shall we talk to Bruno? Let's do it.
What's in it for me? If you give me a silver, might have a bit of info you can use.
All right. We have to pay him for information. There we go. All right. So I hit the ship to take some rocks. And now it says that I can take some apples from this cart. Apples taken. And then died. Okay. Okay. Let's grab some rocks again.
You pick up a few small
So rocks can be used to practice your throwing skill. And as a thief, that's pretty handy. All right, so we've got our apples. We've got our rocks. Let's hit the scoop without having spelled rest. That's on me. All right, so now I've saved my game. We've got apples. We've got some rocks. And we have various other items in our inventory that we have not really looked at yet. So we have a dagger, food, and our purse, as well as a lockpick. So when you're in use mode, you can scroll between all your inventory items. While you're holding a flipper button, it will also show on the back glass any changed stats. So right now, health and stamina have changed from what they were initially. Or rather, since the last time the character sheet was opened. All right, so we got stuff. Let's move over to the right, to the east. Okay, and over to the east again is an icy cave. A giant just appeared out of this cave. So let's talk to the giant. And as with other entities in the game, you can choose what you want to talk about. So one of the items is hunger.
Follow my food house, for my hunt has been hindered by having to hurry here from my home. Find me some fruit, for to mellow my mead horn. Gift I will give of a gem that now glows, glow of the frost flame that fills up the night field, a jewel that is flawless, the finest of gems.
Okay. So this giant is hungry, and we happen to have some apples that we purloined or borrowed from that previous screen.
Fruit you have found, to fill all my food stores, thus filled the bargain, my gem you have bought. Broggy has bartered, and all has been answered. The mead it may mellow, and now I head home.
Okay. So the giant's name was Broggy, and Broggy was hungry. We gave him some food, and in return he gave us this glowing gem. Surely that'll be used somewhere. Okay, so let's keep exploring. Let's go north. And as we're wandering through the forest, occasionally we'll see a monster come across the screen. You'll be very impressed with their ice skating routine. And when they stop in the center, we have a couple of seconds to get away. Otherwise, we engage in combat. So depending on the monster, I may choose to engage in combat, or I may choose to bravely run away. All right, so we're going to the top of this mountain. And there's a gargoyle here. Let's talk to it.
He who would the wizard see first must answer questions 3. What is your name?
Okay. So we have a number of potential answers we can give, depending on whether we wish to be sarcastic or serious. So we can say, call me Ishmael. I'm Inigo Montoya. I'm so confused. Elvis's ghost. Oz the Great and Terrible. Name. And it loops back around. So we want to say our name. Let's be serious. This is a wizard. Surely they know if we're lying.
What is your quest?
Okay. So our quest. I want glory. Whoop. I want to restore my game. Okay. So we gotta go back to the Frost Giant. We must give that Frost Giant some apples. We'll restore the game.
Fruit you have found.
Okay. So I need to enable... Oh, no. Need to enable saving so that I can save my progress there. After giving the giant some apples.
Fruit you have found to fill all my...
Okay. Now, one thing we could do is go to the healer's hut, because that healer has a health potion which will essentially allow us to drain once safely. And if you're me, that'd be pretty handy. Biggest challenge? Getting the ball under control. Okay. Boom.
The fruit you have found.
Alright, so we've got our cool glowing gem. And now we can wander away. And then we want to go outside the village entrance. And then up to the healer's hut. An orb. Ooh, there's something blinking in that nest. My instinct says the thief character class tell me I should try to get that. But instead what I'm going to do is enter the healer's hut. Okay. So in the hut here, we can talk to the healer, or we can use money and purchase one of three different things. The undead unguent, the empty flask, or a healing potion. So the healing potion's at the left orbit. Let's do that, because I think I need one. Or I will hit that ramp. Whew. Okay. Well, I got the undead unguent. That's okay. There we go. Alright, healing potion. Here I come. Alright. So now, what I can do is save the game at the scoop on the right, which I would dearly love to do. Got an empty flask. Still have 2 gold and 65 silver. So anytime you spend money in the game, it doesn't just decrement on your character sheet, which also shows the status of your gold and silver, but it also shows between the flippers, so you have a handy reference. Gonna hit everything but that scoop forever. There we go. Okay. So because I'm inside, I can save the game and advance time safely, even if it was nighttime outside. So now I'm going
by the way, if you happen to find a ring on your adventures, I lost my favorite gold ring. I will give a reward to the one who returns it.
Okay. Missing a ring. A suspiciously shiny thing right outside of the hut. Wonder what that could be. And it's up in a tree. So let's look at our stats. In the back glass here, we can see that our climbing skill is 5. That is not very high. Our gold and silver have gone down since the last time we looked at our character sheet, and our health and stamina as well. So every time that you rest, something I neglected to mention is that your health and stamina and magic points will recover. So this is a little more forgiving than the computer game, where you only recover a certain percentage based on how long you sleep. Because I've taken away that choice in the pinball, that needed a different way of dealing with that. Okay, so let's go up north. Okay, there's a brigand. I'm going to ignore them. So there's a plant which is shooting a seed up into the air. I think I will ignore that for now. Can you fail? Like do something wrong and save and make it impossible to finish? Well, generally only if there's some kind of bug that I haven't discovered. The idea is that anyone should be able to finish the game, given enough time. So I happen to know the solutions to puzzles and so forth, so that makes it a little easier. I completed that fight, which is surprising. I was right on the ropes there. My health is down to 3, my stamina down to 3. So, because I have a health potion, let's see, did I use it? Nope, still there. All right, cool. So, if I die, I will be auto-revived for 1 more ball. Okay. Let's keep going north. What could go wrong? Go to the east. A brigand? No, thank you. Okay, there's a gigantic ogre here. Let's keep moving. Ooh. Okay. So we're in a meadow called Irana's Peace. This fruit seems special. Okay. We can take flowers. I can try to push the stone, or I can take a piece of fruit. All right, setting the slings as a interaction point is pretty difficult. Okay. Whew. Trying to save. Hey, Jerry. Welcome. All right, so I said I wanted to push the stone. And I don't think that call out worked. I died. But I had a healing potion, and so I auto-revived. Well,
Hostile intent is evident. To prepare for battle.
okay. Something interesting happened there. That's okay. It was beneficial to me. All right. So in combat, whoop, that's a scary one. A cheetor. They are quite vicious. Okay, this is the goblin training area.
Hostile intent is evident. To prepare for battle.
So depending on your stats, your attacks can succeed or they can fail. Maybe this gets back to the crux of Ian's question, which is it possible to fail?
Hostile intent is evident.
Yes.
To prepare for battle.
Individual shots may not initially complete the action that you desire based on your stats. Am I trucking through these enemies? That would be interesting. Let's see. Oh, my strength is up to 20. So, yes. All right. Let's go to the fairy circle. There are indeed some fairies here. Let's try talking to them. Whoop. I skipped the actual talking. So your goal in this multi-ball is just to stay alive for a little while and not to die at the end of it. Alright, so I'm down to 2 balls. Down to 1. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay. So, as with other people that you can speak with in the game, these fairies have their own conversation tree. So we can ask them about fairies, we can ask them about fairy dust, mushrooms, the dryad. Let's ask them about dust. Oh my, I've hit a cool bug. So as I said, this is a homebrew project, a one-off, and so it does not have the level of commercial polish that other games do. And I appear to have hit some kind of really cool bug. So let's move back and let's see if we can get that conversation rolling. see cliffs. Let's go to the forest. Goblin training area. Let's go. Ooh, Baba Yaga's hut. Sounds foreboding. Okay. So we have talk selected, and the person or entity that we can talk to is named Bonehead. I wonder who that could be. Alright, so again, conversation tree. This time, though, for real. Mm-hmm. Cemetery, fairy circle.
Take care. Say hi to the dragon. Bye-bye. See ya. Kiss a tree for me.
Suspicious field full of rocks. So the goblin training area was just south of Baba Yaga's hut. Let's go there. Okay. Alright, I asked about Gem, and there was no response. Alright, let's restart the app, shall we? I think it's time. Because there should be dialogue there.
Not those bushes of terror.
Alright, so on this main menu, instead of starting a fresh game, I'm going to continue my game, and then I'll restore in the forest where I was previously. But this time, it'll function. Theoretically. So all the music for the game has been reorchestrated by Charles Wolfe, whom I've worked with a number of times. And for some of the pieces of music, I have worked with session musicians and recorded each piece separately, and then mastered the final track myself. So this is one of those examples, and Charles also wrote a rendition of this song. Other Easter eggs, while we're talking. In the box art for the VGA version of Quest for Glory, the tassels underneath the tapestry that says Quest for Glory 1 spell a word. In my version, they do not. But my version also has additional stained glass because it is wider. Okay. This time, let's talk. Or not. That's a new and different bug. Exciting. I wonder if I go into combat if it'll launch a ball.
Hostile intent is
We're checking out
evident.
Bugs live
Prepare
on
for
stream.
battle.
Got a ball? We have no ball. That will make combat very difficult indeed. All right. Let's truck to a different area. Or we can utilize
Not so the bushes of
our
terror.
glowing gem. I wonder if I saved with some interesting problem in my save data. We'll find out. If so, I'll start up a fresh game and we will go from there. All right. Speaking, pretty important to the game, so need to make sure that is functional. And I died. Oh, well, that was cool. I actually snuck past the monster. That's less cool.
Hostile intent is evident. To prepare for battle.
All right. Fresh game. Let's go.
Not so the bushes of terror.
So, that was a thief. We did not explore many of the thiefly areas. We can certainly do so. Or we can jump to a different character class. With speech that theoretically works. Okay. Let's go with a fighter. All right.
This seems like a
So I start with much more strength. And in fact, I still have more strength than the thief did. All right. So as far as gameplay goes, something which I haven't really talked about is how you change these
small
modes.
rocks.
So the P3 has 3 sets of buttons on either side. Sorry, 3 sets of buttons total, but 3 buttons on either side. And the red buttons move your flippers. They also rotate the lanes to spell the word rest. The white buttons change your interaction mode. And then the yellow buttons perform actions that are specific to that mode. So if you're in a conversation tree, for example, it will allow you to pick a different topic of conversation. Or if you're in the use mode, you can pick the item that you wish to use. Okay. Let's explore to the south of the village. We haven't really been there yet. I do not wish to engage in combat just yet, although I am a fighter. And that is less of a problem. Okay. There's a stag here. Stag disappeared.
I am the Dryad, keeper of the woods. Are you one with the woods? Then you shall aid me, and I shall aid you in your quest. Bring me a seed from the spore-spitting spirea of the north, that I may plant it elsewhere in order to preserve these rare and magical plants. Thus you will become a true friend of the forest.
Okay. So we've been given a quest by the Dryad.
Farewell, friend. I must return to my concentration. May the forest forever surround you.
And the Dryad wishes us to get a seed. Ooh. We're in the fairy circle during the day, so we can potentially take a mushroom without dying. Sounds good.
You pick a handful of the smaller mushrooms and carefully put them away in your backpack.
Alright, where are we headed? Let's go west. Rocky Field. Problem training area is close by. So we can stay in this area and fight goblins and earn money if we choose to. So that's a guaranteed combat every so often. But in this case, let's go get one of those delicious healing potions in a relatively safe area. Okay, so I have an empty flask now. Not what I wanted, but that's okay. There we go. Healing potion! Hooray! Just in time. Let's get another one. Okay. Purchase the ungans. Healing potion. Alright, save. As many other things in this game do, tilt will kill you, so you must use caution.
Oh, by the way, if you happen to find a ring on your adventures...
Alright. Write down. Luckily, healing potion. Okay. So we have apples. We have not gotten the gem. We need the gem. So we're going to use apples.
Fruit you have found, to fill all my food stores. Thus filled the bargain, my gem you have bought.
Alright, we have a glowing gem. Alright. Now, if we can save. There we go. We can roll to Baba Yaga's hut. And then talk to Bonehead. We haven't explored in the castle either. We'll do that next. Alright, so directly north, Baba Yaga's hut. And let's talk to Bonehead. And let's ask him about eyes.
All the other skulls have glowing eyes, but me? No. I don't need lovely glowing eyes. Just open and close the gate, that's all I'm good for. But if you could give me a glowing gem for my eyes, that'll let you in the gate.
Okay. So, we get to use our gem.
You place the glowing gem inside the skull.
Ugh! Is that what you look like? Oh, the rhyme. Yeah, you're right, that was part of the deal. Okay, the rhyme is Hut of Brown, now sit down. Oh well, have fun visiting Baba Yaga. Oh, and good luck. You'll need it.
All right, so now we can talk to the hut. And if you're familiar with the traditional stories of Baba Yaga, she lives in a hut on chicken legs. And you have to say a rhyme in order for the hut to sit down.
You hear a voice in your head saying, "What is the rhyme?"
Okay. So it's asking me to select the appropriate rhyme. And the skull just told us it was Hut of Brown, now sit down. Okay. Whoop. Well, that was quick. That's okay.
You hear a voice in your head saying, "What is the rhyme?"
Ooh, not that one. Okay. So, quick spoiler, if you say the wrong rhyme, the hut sits on you and crushes you to death. All right. You're frozen in place. So we can look around. We can look at this lovely spider.
Look, my pets, we have a visitor. Powers of night, shadows of day. Heed now my words. Henceforth you stay. Well, dearies, what shall we have for supper today? Hero sandwiches? I had something more formal in mind. Now, how does that spell go? Hear me, O powers of Clatha and Mana. Turn now my guest into species called Rana. I learned that spell from
Animation to come.
Erasmus. Doesn't that look delicious? Be still. Critics, we can't all be gourmands, I suppose. So, you're the one who's trying to be a hero around here. The only good hero's a dead hero, I always say. But do I have a need for a brave fool? Are you brave? If you're willing to do a small little teensy favor for me, I might consider having you for supper. I need the root of a mandrake plant that grows
That's
in
a
the
fun bug.
graveyard. Will you be a sweet and fetch me some? And I had my...
So that's a quest that you're put on, and the day-night cycle continues while you're indoors. And you have to bring the mandrake back to Baba Yaga before the next day dawns. Well, that happened while I was in the hut. So right now it's nighttime. Oops. And here's an example of what happens if you go to sleep in an area that's not safe. You die. So, it's very important that you pick where you're going to rest carefully. Oh, thanks, Sean. Voice acting was really fun. This is the first game that I made that had voice acting. The original PC game did not, since it was made in 1990. Oops, it is nighttime. It really wants me to die. Okay. Do I have the Ungen? I do. Okay. So I can use that. But I need to do it in the cemetery.
Hostile intent is evident. To prepare for battle.
Unfortunate. Alright, so the fighter can parry and block. Wow, okay. That worked out. The thief can backstab and throw rocks, and the magic user can, and daggers, and the magic user can, of course, cast spells in combat. Okay, Against, need to use it on self, and that's at the scoop. I do not have infinite time with which to do that. Okay, good. Not quite. Oops. A little overlap there. Okay, so we've been on for an hour so far. Let's take a quick look at the magic user and see how that differs. Now, of course, you can set separate profiles for each character class if you choose. The intro is the same for every character class, but of course, your starting equipment is different each time.
This seems...
So looking at the starting equipment, we've got a dagger, food, or purse, and then the zap spell. So each spell shows up as an item here to be used in the different screens. Another feature of this game, which I haven't talked about, is the hint system. If this were a commercial game, I'd want to polish this up a bit. But it changes this mini monitor and it gives you a context-sensitive hint. The reason it needs a little polish is because the font size I chose is microscopic. So it says that dealing with the skeleton or part of one can help you, and we know what that is a reference to. So it knows what you've completed, where you are, and the items that you hold as well. And it'll give you a hint based on something which is reasonably close that you can accomplish that you have not yet. Okay, magic shop. This is different since we're a magic user. We can talk about the spells or we can just buy them. So we have fetch, open, and flame dart. Let's go for one of them. Open would be cool. Fetch would be cooler. Oh, I believe this is another state bug. Alright, let's give it one more go here. Something inadvisable right before a stream would be going through the entire game, replacing all the music and calls to those tunes without fully testing the game. So this is the difference between homebrew one-off like this and a commercial game, is the amount of testing that it goes through before being played. But since this is mine and only mine, I'll improve things as time goes on. I've rewritten the core of this game many times to add new features or change the way that parts interact. Initially, you had to hit a target in order to walk, which was extremely brutal. Some would say too brutal. And that some would be me. Okay. I got the flame dart spell. And a hilarious achievement. Okay. Go. Got the fetch. Whoop. then stopped paying attention to flippers and died. Alright, so because I haven't saved, I can actually continue where I left off. But was the state bad in this one? I don't remember. We will find out together. Because there's more to explore. The answer is yes. Thanks for your patience, everybody. Again, big difference between homebrew and commercial.
So the bushes of terror?
So, one of the reasons that I decided to make this game, obviously I'm a huge fan of Quest for Glory. I love the games. It's a series of 5 where your decision making and the ways that you choose to improve your character carry over from game to game. As this is the only pinball game that I've made in this series, your progress doesn't carry over from here, but it was hugely inspirational to me. I love the design elements, the blending of
like
point and click and role-playing game. The adventure genre is really fun, and I think could be a really fun thing in pinball.
As you lay your hands on the ugly statue, a swirling miasma of emotions overcomes you. You feel the sculptor's pain and suffering, his disgust with his condition, and the conflicting urges to enjoy and flee from his talent. No, that's not it. The real reason for the disgust you feel has more to do with the pigeon droppings on your hands. You surreptitiously wipe them clean.
That will do it. Okay, so here we are. We're Thief. Let's do some thiefy stuff. I don't think we've done much thiefy stuff yet. On this screen is a house. And this house can be burgled. So we have the option to use a lockpick on the door. Don't have enough skill. Still don't have enough skill. So we should see that my lockpick skill is now 12. Not enough skill. But I am making headway. I'm safe. Vitally important. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. It's pretty cool. All right, what's my skill at now? Let's say 15, I think. Best observed when the ball's under control. I think it was 15 and now it's 14. All right, so with the lockpick, you can either pick the door or you can pick yourself. Do we dare? Not yet. Staff building. All right, save the game. And that will also... What? Starting to get light out. King Goat says, I've always liked to use skill to level skill mechanic in games. It automatically matches your playstyle. That's right. So it's an unusual thing in pinball where we expect an instant reward for every shot that is completed. But having that longer term view, I did not intend to go to this alley. And thinking about building your character and then utilizing those skills is something which I find really interesting.
The bartender glares at you
We are
as
in the
you
bar.
enter, and so does the ugly goon on the left. You get the impression.
Okay.
Go fish.
Let's see.
What's the password?
Alright, so Crusher asked, what's the password? Octolever, Antwerp, Schweinhund, Rheingold, Deutschmark, Purple Saurus. I happen to know that none of those are the password, and if you say the wrong one, you're killed. So we won't be doing that. Instead, let's see if we can determine what the password is. Okay. So here we are with Bruno. And we've got Crusher. Password on the right. That's actually what I want. Or to fail. I haven't made it up to the Wizard's Tower yet, have I?
The thief's password. Sorry, I can't risk losing my thief license. Chief wouldn't like it if I blabbed that to the likes of you.
Alright, so it's going to make that challenging.
What's in it for me? If you give me a silver, might have a bit of info you could use.
Already got my silver. Oops. Alright, let's talk to the beggar here. And we can give them a gold piece as well. Okay. So again, we have a conversation tree.
Someone smart took over. Organised them, trained them, that sort of thing, maybe. Nowadays, no one's safe outside of town.
It's true. Alright, so I've given the person here a bit of gold. Let's see if that opened up any more conversational options.
I think someone's.
It maybe does. If I don't immediately hit. Alright, so the question is, given that I know the specific actions which need to be completed, do I find the challenge of accomplishing it through pinball to be motivating and rewarding? And the answer is yes. It actually increases the difficulty of the game quite a bit. I've played the PC game so many times. I've memorized, every possible interaction and know exactly where to go to do everything. So I find myself playing that game through very quickly. The pinball forces me to slow down. It makes me be a lot more deliberate in my actions, and I spend a lot more time checking out the character sheet to see how my character is improving or not, which is something which I don't really need to pay much attention to on the PC game since I've played it so frequently. But because your actions, the shots that you complete in service of a specific goal in the pinball, increase your stats, it's important to keep tabs on what's happening. All right. Let's see. We haven't been down to the south. Okay. Let's see. We can. I think. Don't have any rocks. Okay.
You pick up a few small rocks.
Okay, so now that I've picked up some rocks, I can throw one, but don't have quite enough skill to make that happen.
You pick up a few small rocks.
Dangerous for me. In that screen, there are a number of ways you can accomplish the goal, which is to knock on the door. Once you have actually squarely hit the door with the rock, or whatever other solution, you meet the inhabitant of that cave. All right. Let's go somewhere a little different. We're going to go back up to the tower. So, the art for the game, all the backgrounds were illustrated by a woman named Esther, who is from the Netherlands. Anyway, she did a phenomenal job. The original artwork for the game, of course, was 320 by 200. So utilizing it as is, pulled from the game would be a non-starter. So all of this has been re-illustrated with a lot of additional detail added. We also haven't been to the castle, have we? So much to explore. All right, so we can head on into the castle, or we can talk to the gatekeeper here. So we can ask about Baba Yaga, the castle, the Baron's family, the brigands, a job, or Yorick, or the graveyard. So let's ask about the Baron's family. That's at the UFO.
The Baroness died soon after the birth of her daughter. The Baron still mourns her. The Baronet Barnard von Spielberg was a proud young man, and had the dark hair and eyes of his father. He rode off one morning, and his horse returned without him. The horse had been raked by the claws of some large animal. There is still a reward offered for the safe return of the Baronet, but I fear he is dead. Elsa was a lovely child with braided blonde hair and bright blue eyes like her mother used to have. A large winged creature flew over the castle walls, grabbed Elsa, and vanished before the guards could fire upon it. We searched everywhere for her, but to no avail. Even the jester Yorick joined the search. The Baron sent a troop of guards to storm Baba Yaga's hut, but I think their skulls still sit atop her fence. Elsa von Spielberg would be about 18.
Okay. All right, let's hop in. So that gave us a little more detail. We can practice our weapon skills against the weapon master here in the courtyard. But what we're looking for is a job. Let's talk to the stable keeper. Ideally. Let's drain.
I could use a strong young person to help clean out the stables. Cleaning up after the horses is a good way to build up your muscles. If you would like to take the job, come on in.
All right. Thank you, Don. All right, so let's start cleaning the stables. So in this mode, you have to hit alternating ramps. And it wants me to hit the left ramp first, which I'll do one day. Long after this mode is over. So if you, for each ramp that you hit, you gain a silver. So it can be a very lucrative mode. You have 30 seconds to hit as many as possible. It's hard work to clean a stable though. And you can find yourself running quite low on stamina afterwards. So let's see what we got. Down to 14. That is fine. We will be just fine. All right, so we can't go into the castle itself in the evening. And we are a thief. Let's go back in the village and do some thiefy stuff. All right, so white buttons change your main mode, and then yellow buttons change interactive elements within that mode. So the yellow buttons in this case choose the item which you plan to use. So we're going to try to pick the door lock again. And let's see what our skill is currently. It's 16. Getting there. Not enough. So many locks. Actually, just one. So there's a number of ways you can improve your lockpicking skill. This is one of them. I went to sleep. Quick before the sheriff wakes up. So we're at 24 now. 25 ideally. This is a pretty tricky door. Not the trickiest in the game, but it's up there. Real question, can I use the lockpick on myself? Woo. It is daytime. Time to not pick a lock in a very obvious place. But you can practice your lockpicking here. Alright, so the bakery is closed. The baker is one of the people who is permanently in the bar. So let's try it.
Your skill in lockpicking is insufficient to open a sardine can. This a key.
Rude. Let's see if we can pick ourselves.
Unfortunately, you push it in too far. Cause it...
That was very loud. Apologize for that. Let's hop. Oh, there's a fox. Let's open the trap.
I'm in such pain and agony I cannot think. Help me, good adventurer, please.
You got it. Maybe. Yes.
In exchange for your kindness, I will give you some advice and a bit of information. First of all, it sometimes pays off to be polite, even to rude people. As for the amusing bit, Baba Yaga put an enchantment on the Baron's daughter some years back. To break the spell, you need to talk to the Dryad. Au revoir, ta-ta for now. Be seeing you.
Well, that is interesting. So the Dryad, everything is interconnected. Running away. Okay. So, you do know that there's a bug somewhere in this conversation tree if you save in the middle of it. So I'm going to try to save before I engage this conversation tree. Why don't I just engage the conversation tree? I don't believe in myself. That's the reason.
He who would the wizard see first must answer questions 3. What is your name?
And I died. Hey, welcome, North 5. Missed a very engaging set of lockpicking earlier.
He who would the wizard see first must answer questions 3. What is your name?
Write down the dream. Okay, so I'm going to say my name. This is a wizard's domain, and so I don't want to get off on the wrong foot with them.
He who would the wizard see first must answer questions 3. What is your name?
Just always going to be in the pops. So another scoring mechanic in this game is missed shots. So every shot is called on the playfield with the chevrons, but it does keep track of all the bumper hits, the switch hits, ramp shots, everything that are not in service of a particular thing. All right, I want glory. I want to be a pirate. I want to be a hero.
What is the thieves' password?
Ooh. Thieves' password. I don't know. I would like to know, but I don't. Saving in the middle. This is either going to be good or bad. Okay.
At least if you're a thief, you're ashamed enough to lie about it. The wizard will see you now. I sure hope you got his pizza order right this time. Go directly up to the tower. Do not dally!
Oh, no. Well, that was almost good.
He who would the wizard see first must answer questions 3. What is your name?
Oh, I mentioned there was a bug. My memory was correct. It eliminates the appropriate answer. Well, we made it in there briefly. But the wizard and his familiar live in that tower.
Hostile intent is evident. To prepare for battle.
All right. Let's do some fighting. $10 silvers. So combat is the best way to earn money in the game. But there are other ways as well. Combat is required at some points, regardless of character class. For example, in the Goblins' training ground, you cannot sneak away you will engage in combat. Let's see if we can get that seed. Stag Forest. Well, we haven't visited the Dryad with this character, and we also haven't been to the Antwerp's lair. Let's do so. Look at the bouncing creature.
By golly, it's an Antwerp. Antwerps are on the endangered species list. They are rarely seen.
Alright, so the question is, what do we do about this bouncing creature? Let's use a dagger.
Cockily, you loosen up to fight. Confident and loose, you approach the Antwerp.
It flew off the screen. Probably fine. Question, how many balls do you get? 1. If you have a healing potion, then you get an automatic ball save. But that requires that you engage with the mechanics of saving and restoring the game. Okay, so here we go. We are going to try to pick the rock door there.
Your skill in lockpicking is insufficient to open a sardine can. This is a key.
Unfortunately. My skill should be getting pretty high, 27, okay. So the max is 100, just for reference.
Your skill in...
Okay. Now, interestingly enough, if we go into the area above, wrong way, that was interesting. Now I have 2. Okay. With that incredible bug, I think that will be the end of the stream. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing a little bit of the first project that I made for the P3. I'm excited to be able to show you what I did all those years ago. But this is what I started with that led to my commercial output. Learning how the P3 functioned, how everything fits together, light shows, mechanics, all those kinds of things. This is the direct influence on my later output. As you may notice from this, it's very, very complex. One of the things I mentioned is that I did go through and rewrite the core systems several times, trying to find just the right balance. Adapting a point-and-click game where you have a lot more motor control over your mousing than you do over the pinball, because you have that layer of indirection with the flippers. Makes translation a little challenging, and picking, exactly the right thing right out of the gate is unlikely. So a lot of planning, a lot of work, effort went into trying to make this balance in a way that is still engaging and fun. I think it is. It is very, very different from the game that I'm currently working on, which is Steelbound. That was just announced last week. But it is, something that I'm proud to have worked on as one-off, a homebrew, and I'm excited to have been able to share just a piece of it with you, bugs and all, tonight. So thanks very much for joining me, and I'll talk to you next time.